Hello, hello. This is Yuri with Moving Sales Professionals and Let's Talk Moving podcast. And with me today, I have David Wagner with Headband Movers, with over 10 years of industry experience, joining me today. How you doing today, DJ?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you having me on the podcast.
No, thank you, thank you. So we met, what is it now, 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah,
Two
Louis
years
Massaro.
ago, Louis Massaro in Arizona, right? So here we are 2 years later. DJ, how did you get started in the industry?
So I've always been moving, man. Primarily started when I was in the Army, just kind of as a side hustle. And then when I out processed out of the military, moved to Florida, started a labor only service, and I've been hitting it hard ever since.
Cool, cool. And where are you based now?
I'm in Denver right now.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I was in Denver about 15, 17 years ago or so. It's a nice area, beautiful.
Oh,
The
man,
Red
it's
Rocks
changed
and
so
all.
much. Yeah, it's exploded.
So, what are you doing and what are you planning to do differently?
Right now we're just scaling, and we're scaling pretty rapidly, a little too quickly. But we've expanded into storage. So we have the warehouse right now. So 5,000 square foot warehouse. Over the last year, we've expanded into junk. So we're just building up the storage clientele right now, trying to build up the junk removal side. And as far as like moving goes, we're doing the apartment moves, house moves, commercial moves. We're doing a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. And what made now obviously, you have the Denver market. I know as far as long distance goes, it's saturated a little bit because you get a lot of brokers that are in that. Like anytime you put out a long distance lead, it gets hit up by brokers in the area. What are you trying to do to fight that? If you're doing any long distance, I don't know.
We're not doing a whole lot of long distance moves right now. We just keep it local. We're so busy with local moves. We plan to expand into the long distance stuff, but a lot of our business is just word of mouth referrals. So, we probably get 5 leads a month for long distance requests, and we turn a lot of those down, but we just refer heavily on the word of mouth. And typically, these people want to work with us. They're excited to work with us. So we're not too concerned with like the long distance brokers.
And now for a word from our sponsors. If you're a moving business owner, you may have already heard of Moversville, an email marketing service that helps moving companies increase, repeat, and referral business. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services that cater specifically to the moving industry. You can find companies that provide moving software, moving sales services, marketing services, moving equipment providers, and much, much more. Visit moversville.com today to learn more. Okay. So
Yeah.
what are you doing then for the local market that's unique?
Our branding is, I feel like our branding is on point. We have a solid team, we have solid culture. We're veteran owned and operated. A lot of people want to work with us just because we are a veteran owned company. But man, our team is solid. And so, all of our guys are dialed in. They're polite, they're respectful, they have integrity, and people like to work with us, man. Just being polite goes such a long way with movers. I'm sure you've been in the industry a long time. It's challenging to find guys that kind of buy into the culture. So we're really culture driven, and I'm working on a lot of stuff right now to grow the team and to recruit. Like recruiting is so important. So to find the right people that represent the company and represent the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. It is all about the right people because at the end of the day, I can say whatever on the phone to represent you guys, but if you don't go out there and back it up, anything that I say is going to sooner or later is going to catch up to me if you're not doing what you're doing in the field, what needs to be done in the field.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can say whatever you want on the phone, and then when your team pulls up and they don't execute, the customers are going to see it, right? And they're going to have a problem with it, and they're going to give you a call back, and they're going to say, "Hey,
Right.
you guys were going to do all these things, and they didn't do them." So that's a common thing in the industry, man. People are so hungry just to make the sale. They'll say whatever they can to book the job. How we
That's why we're dialed in with doing what we're doing for our clients because that's not what we do. We first of all, we're never going to say anything about a competitor that's not true, that they can't find themselves.
yeah.
And second of all, we are very much dialed in to make sure that we get as much information as we can and as we are as accurate as we can be when we're quoting the customer because we want everything needs to match.
Yeah, accuracy is so important too with estimates. We see what a lot of our competitors are doing, and Right now, they're not giving accurate quotes. They'll be like, okay, this move will take 2.5 to 5.5 hours, right?
Yeah.
Being
Meanwhile, the drive on its own is 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly, right. And these these leads, they probably hear 2.5 hours, and they're like, okay, this is gonna be a quick move. It's gonna be an affordable move, and then it takes 5 hours, and then they're surprised at the end of the move with the bill. And so we just try to be as dialed in as we possibly can.
Yeah, no, I mean, anytime you hear somebody say, okay, I have two guys that are going to get this done in my 3 bedroom townhouse, move it in 2 hours or 3 hours. And I'm like, okay, do you know Superman?
Yeah, yeah. Do you have superheroes on your team? We have people all the time. They'll send us the estimate from, the neighboring moving companies, our competitors, and we'll look at it and we'll just go, whoa, like
Yeah.
two guys, they're gonna knock out this 3 bedroom condo in 3.5 hours. That's insane.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if you want to go with them, that's fine. Here's my number. Call me and let me know how that went.
Yeah, exactly. Give us a call. Let us know how it went.
Does your company need more creative marketing and ad campaigns to improve traffic and organic leads? Well, Moving Sales Professionals has a solution for you. We have partnered with social media marketing agency that has over 300 million views on their ads and videos across social media, and they have generated over $35 million for their clients over the last 10 years alone. Their services include content creation, social media ads, pay-per-click campaigns, website and funnel development, Google Ads, email marketing campaigns, lead generation, and much, much more. For limited time only, they have discounted rates for their services. Sign up for a free consultation call with us via our Calendly link on our website or below this video. So, DJ, what would you recommend to new companies starting out?
Scale responsibly, take your time, focus on the long game. Everything doesn't come quick. I think a lot of people, they want to be $1 million company, but they don't realize what goes into that.
Well, you can be $1 million company without being $1 million company because at the end of the day, you have a lot of people that talk about net, net, net. Net means nothing. What are you taking home? You can accumulate $1 million worth of business and you have all this business coming in, but then when you take what you have to pay out for everything between storages and trucks and guys and materials and everything else, and you're like, oh, I'm really not making anything.
Yeah, exactly. I know a lot of guys, they call me all the time and ask me how to be profitable. And I can't give you a straightforward answer, right? I'm not in your shoes. I don't know how you operate your company. I don't see the numbers. I'm not inside your books. But it's a process trying to be profitable. But scale responsibly, take your time when you're building your moving company. Take the time to put together the playbooks, take the time to train your team, take your time with recruiting, hire the right people, be on the truck as much as you possibly can, be in front of your clients as much as you possibly can. When we get done with this, I'm going to go to a commercial job, pop up on my team and make sure they're doing all the right things, introduce myself to the customer. The work doesn't stop. And the moment you think that you're comfortable and you're making all this money, you really got to get more dialed in.
Yeah,
And
you got to dig in even deeper because, you can't just like it's almost to a degree part of you wants to be comfortable, but the other part of you can't be comfortable because the moment you get comfortable, you get complacent and you just don't focus on the same things that you used to focus that got you to the comfortable.
dude, you're right. Complacency costs you so much money. It really does. When you get complacent, your team gets complacent, they make mistakes, damage claims go up,
Mm.
right? When your team gets complacent, they get in accidents, right? We just had a 3-car accident with one of our trucks right now. Um, and we're preparing to work with our lawyer and work with the claims and work with the insurance company. But one guy got complacent driving the truck and he got in an accident. Thankfully, nobody got hurt, but there was 3 cars involved, right? Complacency, even just carrying furniture through a house, sliding furniture on wood floors, right?
Mhm.
Or repairs cost thousands of dollars. Complacency carrying furniture through tight stairways. This last month has just been insane with wall damages, right? So guys get comfortable, they get complacent. If you're going to get complacent as a moving company owner, you're going to lose a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, and at the end of the day, you want to make sure that that stuff is taken care of because otherwise, you gotta, the other thing too is that you gotta have a CEO mentality. That's really what it can boil down to because you're not the foreman on the truck anymore. You
Yeah.
have a lot more responsibilities. And not only do you have responsibilities to yourself and to your family, you have responsibility to your guys, you have responsibility to your clients, you have responsibility all over the place. So if you're not taking that and doing what needs to be done, like you gotta, like, whether you guys like it or not, but you gotta, take care of watching your inventory. You gotta know what's on the truck every time it goes out, and you gotta know what's on the truck when it comes back, and whether some packing materials just went to the left.
Yeah.
You gotta know that because people do that. Movers do that. They want a bigger tip. They think if they give some extra boxes to the customer is gonna give them a bigger tip. At the end of the day, it's your money that's walking out the door.
Yeah, well, think if on every job, if they gave away 3 boxes for the
Hmm.
entire year, right? That's thousands of dollars in
Yeah,
inventory. You know, that's
absolutely.
that's the vacation with the family to
Yeah,
Disneyland. You know
exactly.
what I mean? So, a lot of people think, hey, I want to be the CEO, but they don't realize the work that it takes to actually be a CEO. They think
Right.
it's just sitting in the office and you're looking at your books and you're looking at
No, there's
how
so much work.
profitable you are, right? There's so much that goes into it. And as I'm scaling more and more towards being the $1 million company, it's just like, man, like it's so much work, right? And it's not
Yeah.
something that I really
Yeah,
thought
it's
about.
it's 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 a lot of work. So and when most people they talk, all they see is they see the dollars and they see that people are uh able to do, but they're not seeing all the work behind the scenes that goes into it. Yeah, I mean most of us we're not old money. There's only a few people that are old money that have that stuff in the bank that just basically continue the status quo and they don't have to do all the building. Those of us that started from zero, that have to build it all the way up, we've put so much work to get there.
Yeah.
Like you got to be self-made. You got to do all that stuff because if you don't, you're never going to get there. And the other thing too is that, maybe some people won't agree with me, but it starts with you being at the top. So you can go out drinking with the guys. You can't do any of that stuff. Yeah, okay, you can have a Christmas party and you can get a little bit closer, but you still got to keep a certain level of distance between you and your crews. Not
Yeah.
because you're all high and mighty versus what your regular guys are, but because if you get too close, then the guys are going to get too comfortable and you're going to lose that whole idea of employer-employee relationship. And once you lose the idea of employer-employee relationship, when there's really a situation where you really need them to do something that may be a little bit outside what they need to do, holding that quote unquote friendly relationship in mind, they're not going to do it for you.
Yeah, you're spot on, man. I've dealt with it when I first started scaling the company, right? I'm on the truck every single day. You become buddies with the people that you're working with, but you need to draw that line in the sand pretty early.
Mm,
Unfortunately, a lot of people that originally started working with me, we got a couple of guys, but they made me their best friend too quickly, right? And the expectations were just unrealistic, right? Like I'm your
right.
boss, the owner of the company. We have a standard, be yourself. I always want you to be yourself, take care of the clients, do your thing, but I got to hold you to a standard and
Yeah.
it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah. You gotta set those boundaries.
Yeah, you have to, man. You got to do it early on. Figure out what, the culture of your company, what your values are, and stick to that. And, the guys that don't want to buy into that, get them out of the company as quickly as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you're trying to get somewhere, it's not everybody's there to take you there, unfortunately. Some people are there that will only take you to a certain point.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, I think the problem that all of us have, especially when we are ourselves starting things from scratch or what have you, is that we tend to hold on to people for too long. There's got to be a time where you simply have to pull the plug because it's like it's not you hold on because you've built a relationship with them or they build a relationship with you. But at the end of the day, realistically, if the person is not bringing value to the table for your company, if they're not making you money, if they're not they're I mean every one of your employees ultimately are there to make money for you. They're not, yeah, they're there for to make money for themselves, but that's their thing.
Yeah.
They got to make money for themselves. They got to feed their family, but ultimately they're there to make money for you. So if they're not making money for you, and I mean, if they're breaking even, depending on what else they bring to the table, maybe it's somebody that has this Uber experience that everybody who works with this person, they pick up on that experience and they're able to use that experience to once again make money for you, right? But at the same time, they're teaching people, and those people are making you money, but they themselves are not making you money. They're breaking even, right? Somebody like that has value. It may
It,
not be, it's not financial value per se, but it is, it is a value, right? But if they're losing you money consistent, there comes a time where you simply have to say, okay, if this doesn't change, this is you have to take them down. You said, say, okay, this is what needs to happen. And if that not doesn't happen, you have to cut a tie. You have to cut the umbilical cord sooner or later, because otherwise it's just you're gonna get deeper and deeper down that rabbit hole.
yeah, man, you're going to continue to lose money on that person, right? Like I've been the guy that's just overly understanding, right? Like I
Yeah.
understand your situation, man. I've been there before. Let's figure this out together. But once they start losing you so much money, man, you got to cut ties. You really do. You just it's going to cause you so much headache. So, but for somebody like me, that's a really compassionate person, and I try to be understanding. You're going to hire people that take advantage of that. As a leader, you got to step back sometimes and go, okay, like where are you weak? And that's one of the areas I've been weak, and I'm working on it over the last 6 months, right? Am I going to continue to be understanding? Yes, but I have to draw the line somewhere, man. I really do.
Yep, absolutely. We need to be able to do those things. And as that's once again, that's a switch from the guy that's on the truck to a guy that's in the office. And you may still be on the truck, but if you're trying to actually build a company, it's kind of the same thing. You gotta learn to delegate your responsibilities. And I mean, to a degree, obviously, with everything that's going on, I'll be honest with you, I had to step back uh on the phone versus off the phone, because that needs to happen with everything that's going on. So like, I mean, we're all have to do that, whether we have to get back on the truck, and you can be frankly too high and mighty and not do that, you know?
Yeah, you have to be. I'm back on the truck, man.
Mhm.
As of the last 2 weeks, we've had some guys leave the company. It's important for me to get back on the truck to train people,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm pulling up to the jobs. I'm on the truck at least 5 days a week now, moving
Right.
forward. I'm getting to know the team. I'm seeing their weaknesses, and the training doesn't stop, man. Like we're
No.
to like 4 trucks and 14 guys, and if somebody's not out there training them and being consistent with them, they're going to make mistakes and your damage claims are going to skyrocket. It's just insane, man. I know a lot of moving company owners that just refuse to be on the truck and they have so many problems. And I'm like, man, like if you're not going to be on the truck, at least pull up to the job, right?
Mhm.
Bring the guys water, introduce yourself to the customers,
Right.
stick around a bit, see how they're working. It's a process, man, but I have no problem getting on the truck. I started as a mover. I'm a solid mover, and the guys like when I come and help with the heavy pieces and show them how to prep the furniture. They enjoy it, so I have no problem jumping on the truck.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, you sometimes have to, like, even when you don't have to, you still have to, because sometimes it's just like, it can be a good motivating factor for your crew when you see the boss jump in the trenches, you know? But of course, we can talk about this many, many times. So, David, once again, thank you very much for joining me for this podcast. And like I always say, let the world move zone and zone, let the professionals move yours for you. Thank you very much for joining for this podcast, and we'll talk to you soon.